Pablo Aimar. Lionel Messi once said Pablo Aimar was his childhood hero, a player he studied obsessively, replicating every move in the streets of Rosario. The greatest footballer of all time looked up to a man many casual fans have never even heard of. Valencia, early 2000s, Aimar operates in a different dimension. Walls of defenders become corridors of opportunity. Time itself slows when the ball reaches his feet, milliseconds stretching into eternities only he can exploit. He represented Argentina across multiple tournaments: the 2006 World Cup, the 2004 Copa America, moments where glimpses of brilliance flickered before injuries inevitably intervened. The cruel pattern repeated. Scintillating performances followed by medical tables, comeback attempts shattered by his body's betrayal. Ankle issues, muscle tears, surgeries that stole entire seasons from someone whose prime should have dominated European football. Yet when fit, Valencia's Mestalla witnessed poetry in motion. Assists from things that only he could see, dribbles leaving defenders frozen in confusion. Aimar's legacy lives beyond statistics. In Messi's childhood bedroom, walls covered with his posters. In every intelligent midfielder choosing vision over physicality, artistry over athleticism. The magician who proved football's deadliest weapon isn't strength or speed, it's seeing possibilities invisible to everyone else. Alessandro Nesta. Nesta's defending was pure artistry, custom-tailored perfection where others played by brute force. Lazio, AC Milan. He turned destruction into art, violence into ballet. No screaming, no theatrical slides, no chest-thumping aggression, just perfect, almost inhuman precision. Watch him mark prime strikers. He doesn't react. He anticipates 3 seconds into the future. The attacker thinks he's found space, only to discover Nesta's already there, effortlessly sweeping the ball away like brushing dust off a suit. He lacked Cannavaro's leadership volume or Maldini's mythological status, yet his impact was seismic. Strikers would finish matches against him with shattered confidence. He made world-class forwards look ordinary through positioning and intelligence. Nesta could start attacks with the technical security of a midfielder. One touch to control, one pass to unlock pressure, zero wasted movement. Nesta proved you could dominate through elegance alone. For an entire generation of defenders in the 2000s Serie A, he wasn't just the standard, he was the blueprint for intelligent defending. Graceful, calculated, and absolutely unbeatable. Guti. Guti was Madrid's lightning strike, invisible for stretches, then suddenly illuminating the entire stadium with impossible genius. Playing alongside Galacticos, he became the forgotten magician whose moments defined matches more than headlines acknowledged. 1 second, anonymous. Next second, a no-look back heel splits the defense perfectly, or a Trivela cross finds a striker's head with GPS precision. His assists weren't just accurate, they were audacious, created from improvisation that no amount of coaching could ever teach. Free from tactical rigidity that suffocates creativity, Guti thrived on going with the flow. Given the ball, and he'd carve defenses apart with passes that seemed invented in that exact moment. His vision didn't just see opportunities, it created them from nothing. Modern football doesn't tolerate inconsistency. Pressing demands and tactical discipline, Guti offered none of that. He needed his freedom to flourish. His YouTube compilations speak for themselves. Assists that defy physics, passes that shouldn't work, creativity that borders on arrogance. Yet his career legacy remains complicated. Moments of brilliance scattered across frustrating inconsistency. For those who remember, he represented football's beautiful unpredictability. The magician who appeared when least expected, delivered impossible passes, then vanished. Diego Forlán. Forlán was the striker who scored from everywhere and made it look inevitable. Villarreal, Atletico Madrid. He terrorized Europe's best defenses with runs that seemed scripted by fate itself. 2010 World Cup. While the world watched Spain's tiki-taka revolution, Forlán claimed the golden ball, carrying Uruguay with performances out of this world. He wasn't flashy, didn't showboat, didn't need 10 touches when one would do. He simply appeared exactly when the opportunity presented itself. His striking was surgical. Thunderous volleys from impossible angles, tap-ins from predatory positioning, long-range missiles that left goalkeepers paralyzed. At Manchester United, he struggled and was labelled as a flop. Then Spain happened. Suddenly, the same player was unplayable. The system finally matched his intelligence. Forlán didn't dribble past 5 defenders for highlights. He read games like literature, positioning himself in spaces defenders forgot existed. Timing, finishing, spatial awareness weaponized. In the Messi-Ronaldo era, his brilliance got buried, but those who watched remember the striker who could score from anywhere, anytime, with ice-cold precision. Simplicity disguised as genius, genius disguised as simplicity. Gabriel Batistuta. The roar when Batistuta touched the ball at Fiorentina wasn't celebration. It was primal recognition of a goal-scoring gladiator entering the arena. Argentina's warrior. Every strike carried thunder. His shooting technique combined raw power with perfect placement, making goalkeepers look helpless. Headers came off his forehead like missiles programmed for the top corner. He carried Fiorentina through Serie A's golden age, staying loyal when bigger clubs offered fortunes. That loyalty built a legend. Florence didn't just love him, they worshipped him. His statue stands outside the Artemio Franchi Stadium, concrete proof of what he meant. Batistuta played in 3 World Cups with Argentina, 56 goals in 78 appearances. Yet somehow, he's overshadowed by Ronaldo and Romario in conversations about 90s strikers. Maybe because he wasn't about flair or dribbling wizardry, just ruthless, devastating finishing. The elegance in his run-up, the fury in his strike, the certainty in his celebration. Batistuta knew, before the ball had even left his boot, he was built for moments that matter most. A penalty box assassin whose memory deserves more than quiet reverence from those who remember. Fabio Cannavaro. 2006. A defender wins the Ballon d'Or. Not just any defender, Cannavaro, the 5'9" centre-back who became football's ultimate contradiction. Too small for his position, yet impossible to beat. Italy's World Cup triumph wasn't just tactical brilliance, it was Cannavaro's masterclass in reading football's invisible language. He didn't outmuscle forwards or outpace wingers, he simply knew where they'd go before they did. Standing barely 5 feet 9 inches, he shouldn't have survived against Europe's towering strikers. But Cannavaro's positioning was so intelligent, his anticipation so supernatural, that he eliminated aerial threats before they materialized. When forced into aerial duels, his timing and leap technique kept him competitive, but his real mastery was making his weakness irrelevant through positional perfection. Whichever team he played for, chaos organized itself around his presence. Lightning-quick reactions, recovery pace that erased mistakes, tackling techniques so precise it looked rehearsed. Strikers would commit to moves, certain they'd succeeded, only to find Cannavaro materializing from nowhere, ball already cleared, danger already neutralized. The Ballon d'Or acknowledged what fans knew. World-class defending isn't about physical dominance. It's about intelligence so complete that limitations become invisible. Christian Vieri. Lazio, Inter, Juventus. It didn't matter. Opposition defenders dreaded seeing him on the team sheet. When Vieri ran at goal, defenders had 2 options: get out of the way or get destroyed. He'd bulldoze through challenges that would stop normal players, his physique and determination creating chaos wherever he went. His heading was inevitable. Crosses came in and you knew, everyone knew, Vieri would win. Goalkeepers positioned themselves, defenders jumped with him, yet the ball always ended in the net. He wasn't elegant or technical in the traditional sense. No fancy footwork, no subtle feints. Just relentless attacking presence backed by explosive finishing. One touch to control, one strike to score. Efficiency through dominance. Serie A's golden age featured football's toughest defenders. Vieri didn't finesse them, he overwhelmed them. At club level, he scored wherever he played. At the national team, 45 goals in 69 international appearances adds to the story about a ruthless goal machine. Outside Italy or diehard fans, his name drifts into obscurity. A shame, because Vieri represented pure striker instinct. Raw, powerful, and utterly unforgettable for those who witnessed his destruction. David Villa. Spain's golden generation gets remembered for tiki-taka philosophy, but Villa was their sword, the ruthless finisher who turned possession into goals. Euro 2008, World Cup 2010, Euro 2012. 3 consecutive international tournaments, Spain were dominant, David Villa were pivotal. While the world praised midfield mastery, he delivered when possession needed converting. Valencia, Barcelona, Atletico, everywhere he played, goals followed. His movement was ghostly. Defenders would mark him, then suddenly he'd vanished, reappearing in deadly positions. Left foot, right foot, headers, Villa scored every way imaginable. Placed shots angled beyond goalkeeper's reach, tap-ins from instinctive positioning. In the Messi-Ronaldo spotlight era, his brilliance got overshadowed. Spain's success was attributed to philosophy rather than the clinical striker executing it. But watch those tournaments again. Villa's goals weren't just important, they were essential. He scored winners, opened defensive walls, and provided the ruthlessness tiki-taka needed. Understated brilliance, a silent assassin. Forgotten by many, but crucial to Spain's Euro win in 2008, World Cup in 2010, and that amazing season for Barcelona in 2010 to 2011. Jaap Stam. Manchester United, 1998. Sir Alex Ferguson smashes the world transfer record for a defender, bringing a Dutch colossus to Old Trafford. Within months, the entire Premier League understands why. Strikers would plan their runs, commit to their movements, then vanish into Stam's shadow, dispossessed before they even realised the danger. His reading of the game was prophetic, intercepting passes that hadn't been played yet, occupying spaces forwards needed before they arrived. Stam combined raw power with surprising pace that left strikers nowhere to hide. Try to outmuscle him? Impossible. Try to outrun him? He'd hunt you down. Try to outsmart him? He'd already calculated your next 3 moves. 3 Premier League titles, 1 Champions League trophy. The treble season saw Stam as United's defensive backbone. Yet in 2001, Ferguson made his greatest mistake, selling Stam to Lazio after an autobiography controversy. In Serie A, Stam remained imperious. World-class defending that made elite forwards look ordinary through positioning, power, and intelligence combined into one devastating package. Modern fans remember Ferdinand and Vidic, but those who watched know. Stam was the blueprint, the complete defender who simply had it all. Juan Román Riquelme. Riquelme is the hill football purists will die on. Boca Juniors, Villarreal. When his boots touched grass, the game bent to his will. While the sport accelerated into chaos, he remained defiantly, beautifully slow. In 2005, Villarreal finished 3rd in La Liga, ahead of Real Madrid's billion-euro Galacticos. One man orchestrating the impossible. Riquelme didn't chase the ball, he summoned it. Possession wasn't a tactic, it was his religion. He'd receive under pressure, defenders swarming, and calmly thread passes through spaces that didn't exist until he created them. Critics screamed he was outdated, too casual, defensively negligent. They missed the point entirely. Riquelme demanded something modern football refuses to give: freedom. Just space, time, and trust. He scored bangers from distance, dropped defenders with subtle feints, and controlled matches like a conductor owns an orchestra. The last number 10 who refused to compromise his artistry for tactical trends and defensive responsibility. Today's game murdered players like him, but watching Riquelme meant witnessing football as philosophy. Proof that beauty and effectiveness aren't always enemies, that slowing down could be the most devastating weapon of all. Dejan Stankovic. Inter under Mourinho wasn't just organised defensively, it was complete football. And Stankovic was the engine, tireless, intelligent, explosive when needed. Box-to-box before box-to-box became trendy. He'd defend in his own area, then surge forward to create attacks, covering every blade of grass. Energy, technique, and tactical intelligence combined into one relentless midfielder. March 2011, Champions League. Inter hosting Bayern Munich. Stankovic receives the ball near halfway, sees Manuel Neuer off his line, and launches an audacious volley that screams into the net. That moment captured everything: vision, technique, and the confidence to attempt the impossible. His long-range shooting was thunderous. When he struck from distance, goalkeepers dove not with hope, but out of duty. Multiple screamers for Inter, each one a reminder that giving him space was self-sabotage. Modern audiences might not know his name, but anyone who watched Mourinho's treble-winning Inter remembers the midfielder who could influence every phase. Defensive discipline, attacking creativity, physical dominance. Stankovic offered everything. The midfielder who made legends shine brighter because he did the work others wouldn't. Adriano. Mythology wrapped in boots. Inter Milan, Brazil. Watching him was like witnessing power incarnate, terrorizing defenses, left foot like a howitzer. When Adriano shot, the ball traveled with violence and precision, often leaving keepers rooted as it screamed past. 25 yards out was his territory, and everyone knew it. But he wasn't just power. He could dribble, combining explosive pace with technique that shouldn't exist in someone his size. Defenders bounced off him while he maintained perfect control. The complete striker. Physical dominance, technical ability, clinical finishing. Then life happened. Personal tragedies, loss, struggles beyond football. The consistency vanished, the focus scattered. Injuries mounted. The emperor who seemed invincible slowly faded. Fans still debate what might have been if circumstances were different. That's the tragedy. Adriano at his best was arguably unstoppable, yet we sadly only glimpsed it. Highlight reels don't capture what he meant to those who watched. The fear he instilled, the awe he generated, the heartbreak when potential evaporated. A titan remembered more for missed destiny than actual achievements, yet his peak was so magnificent that even the what-if cements his legend. Ricardo Carvalho. Carvalho was the defender nobody talked about while he quietly dominated everything. Porto, Chelsea, Real Madrid, his teams were in control. No panic, no theatrics, just surgical interception and positioning so perfect the game looked scripted and rehearsed. At Chelsea, alongside John Terry, the partnership was devastating. Terry got headlines for blood and thunder defending. Carvalho got the job done with technical perfection. He'd step out with the ball, calmly beating pressure, threading passes that started counterattacks. His tactical intelligence was elite. Jose Mourinho trusted him completely. That says everything. Mourinho, the defensive tactician who built empires on solid backlines, knew Carvalho was the foundation. Modern audiences overlook him, perhaps because his defending was too smooth, too effortless. Brilliant, calm defensive acts don't produce viral highlights. Carvalho was the invisible engine making stars shine. Elegant destruction, a blueprint for defending with intelligence over aggression. Javier Zanetti. 19 seasons at Inter, 858 appearances, one club, one man, infinite positions. Zanetti was football's ultimate professional, tireless, adaptable, and utterly dependable. Right back, left back, wing back, midfielder, wherever Inter needed him, he delivered world-class performances without complaint. His stamina was supernatural. 90 minutes, every match, sprinting in the 89th minute like he'd just warmed up. Zanetti's intelligence was extraordinary, which explains how he could cover multiple roles. Perfectly timed tackles, anticipation that seemed precognitive, surging forward to create overloads, dropping back to rescue defense. Watch him play. No wasted movement, every decision correct. He'd overlap to stretch defenses, then sprint back to cover danger. His leadership was quiet, but absolute. Not through screaming or demanding, but through example. Every training session, every match, every moment, Zanetti gave everything. Teammates followed because he showed them how. Modern football idolizes specialists. Zanetti was everything simultaneously. Upon retirement, people realized how much of Inter's success depended on him. Football's Swiss Army knife, who mastered every position he touched. Ricardo Quaresma. Quaresma was football's beautiful disaster. Talent so obvious it was criminal. Consistency so absent it was maddening. Porto, Inter, Besiktas. Flashes of genius illuminating careers of frustrating inconsistency. The Trivela. That audacious outside-of-the-boot technique became his signature. While others used their instep, Quaresma bent physics with flair. Goals, assists, crosses, all executed with technique so unique it seemed invented specifically for him. One match, he'd destroy defenses single-handedly, dribbling past 3 players, delivering perfect trivela crosses, scoring from angles that shouldn't work. Defenders spinning, fans breathless, commentators running out of superlatives. Next match? Invisible. Not bad, just absent. The consistency never materialized. Growing up alongside Cristiano Ronaldo, comparisons were inevitable and cruel. Ronaldo became obsession personified, transforming into history's most complete player. Quaresma remained the mercurial talent who never conquered his inconsistency. Modern football demands defensive contribution, pressing intelligence, tactical awareness. Quaresma offered none of that when the ball wasn't at his feet. And when it was, pure magic. He's remembered for moments, not titles or overall career. That Trivela goal against Italy, those Porto performances, brief Besiktas brilliance. The ultimate what-if player. Football's firework, spectacular, unpredictable, and gone too quickly. Lucio. Lucio was defending bordering on extreme sport. He combined defender aggression with midfielder flair, all in one player. 6'2", built like a sprinter, confident like a playmaker. He'd dominate aerial duels with physical power that left strikers crumpled, then surge forward, dribbling through midfield like he forgot his position. A defensive earthquake becoming an attacking avalanche. His heading was dominant. Corners, crosses, long balls, if it came near Lucio, he won it. But unlike traditional defenders, he didn't just clear danger, he launched attacks with precise distribution, and with technical security matching any midfielder. Brazil's 2002 World Cup featured organized defending, but Lucio added chaos to that order. He'd abandon his position to maraud forward, score crucial goals, and somehow still maintain defensive awareness. Organized recklessness, calculated chaos. Lucio thrived on audacity. He made fans hold breath, opponents panic, and coaches simultaneously grin and grimace. At Inter under Mourinho, his energy found structure. Still aggressive, still surging forward, but channeled within tactical discipline. The perfect storm. Instinct meeting intelligence. Understated in world-class footballers' conversations. Unforgettable for those who watched. Deco. Deco was football's quiet genius. The midfielder who controlled matches through intelligence rather than volume. He orchestrated attacks with precision tactical snipers would envy. His passing vision unlocked defenses others considered impenetrable. Threading balls through congested areas, finding teammates in tight spaces, controlling tempo like conducting symphonies. Every touch purposeful, every decision correct. At Porto, he was the architect of Jose Mourinho's Champions League miracle. That 2004 triumph was, among other things, a result of Deco's creativity. Barcelona featured Ronaldinho's magic, Xavi's control, Iniesta's elegance. Yet Deco's influence often went unnoticed by casual fans. Under pressure, he remained impossibly calm. Defenders swarming, one touch to escape, one pass to unlock chaos. His technical security under pressure was elite level, maintaining possession while creating progression. Not flashy, not theatrical, just devastatingly effective. His legacy lives in those who appreciate midfield subtlety, quiet control that wins matches before defenses realize they've been beaten. Deco proved football isn't just goals and saves. Sometimes it's the invisible passes, perfect timing, and intelligence that create magic others execute. Roy Makaay. Makaay was death disguised as a striker. Deportivo La Coruña, Bayern Munich. He terrorized Europe's best defenses through positioning so tactically intelligent he could have been a Navy SEAL. Predatory instinct perfected. He didn't need dribbles, fancy flicks, or showboating. One perfectly timed run, one clinical finish. Defenders would position themselves correctly, mark him closely, yet somehow he'd still appear exactly where the ball landed, netting with ruthless efficiency. His 10-second goal against Real Madrid in Champions League, still the fastest in competition history, summed him up perfectly. One touch, one goal. While Madrid organised, Makaay scored. At Deportivo, he spearheaded their miracle La Liga title, finishing as top scorer. Bayern Munich signed him knowing exactly what they'd get. Guaranteed goals from a striker who made difficult finishing seem effortless. Left foot, right foot, headers, Makaay scored them all, always with the same clinical precision. No celebration theatrics, no emotional outbursts. Just job done, on to the next. Modern forwards are doing everything: pressing, dropping deep, linking play. Makaay was a specialist, pure box predator whose only concern was finishing chances others created. In an era demanding versatility, he remained beautifully singular. Intuition, timing, finishing. The striker's striker, forgotten by many, remembered by those who value pure goal-scoring excellence.